Hey there, my name is Ash T, and on this episode of The Dropouts, I have a very good friend of mine, Elsha Kim, who went from business or telemarketing to acting.
Pick one, Ash.
Okay, let's say business to acting then.
Okay.
Yeah, that sounds good. Let's start from the beginning.
Of time?
Maybe your life.
My
Was that
life.
the beginning of time?
So September 2nd,
That's
1991.
your birthday. Okay.
You mean like my career?
No, actually, when you grew up with your parents, where were you born?
Oh, okay. I was born in Jersey.
Jersey.
Jersey girl. Yeah.
Wow. How long were you there?
I was there until I was 8.
Okay, so you had dreams growing up, right? As a Jersey girl?
No,
Like 5 or 6?
not really.
Your parents never said, they're Korean, so
Yeah.
work ethic is really important, and they didn't pressure you into doing anything.
It is, and it kind of stopped at their generation.
What?
Yeah, no, Korean work ethic is very important. You were asking me this earlier, but I really didn't know what I wanted to do.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You didn't have any dreams, though, about what you wanted to do later
As a
in life?
child?
Yeah, like when you were growing up. Were you like,
Actually,
I don't have to be anything because I'm going to be fully
I wanted
funded?
to be a beaver,
Yeah, oh,
and
you
I
wanted
would bite all the tips of my pencils.
Oh, you were serious about that. You wanted to be a beaver. Okay.
I would show
and then-
everyone my pencils.
But one day you realized you couldn't be a beaver.
Yeah, I gave up on that dream.
Yeah.
When I was in high school, I wanted to do something professional. I was voted like most fashionable in 9th grade in high school, and I got to take extra photos and be a part of that. Then my yearbook got stolen, so I have no evidence. But I was very much into fashion. I was also really into art. I think if I had gone to an art school, that would have become a gift that you nourish kind of. But seeing my parents struggle so much financially and that affecting their, our family life and just their happiness. They were in ministry, which is very tough.
They were both ministers.
My dad is a pastor. My mom was a Sunday school teacher. So they were both very much in ministry. Seeing that, I wanted to, not have the same type of trouble, the same issues. And so I was like, first, I don't want to be, hired by the church. I love church, but that was not something I'll pursue because that ran in my family. Like my uncle, my grandpa, they're all pastors.
You didn't want to be poor.
Yes. Thank you for saying that for me. Yes, I didn't want to be poor, and I was still poor for a long time after. But my parents would always say, do something professional, do something professional. So I was like, I'm not going to go to art school. I'm going to become a professional.
Oh, so you did have a love for arts early on, would you say?
Yeah, absolutely. I would sew my own dresses at home. I always grew up doing fine art. So yeah, absolutely. But I had this idea that I had to do something professional.
Early on, did your parents coerce your career choice?
Not really. I would say my mom has, like I said earlier on, they said do something professional so that you're not poor and you don't have to struggle like that. But even today, my mom is very supportive of us being happy and us pursuing our dreams. Even when I'm discouraged and I feel like it's not going anywhere, she'll be like, you got to get up. You got to do it again. So definitely she has always pushed us. She's never been like, oh, I'm so sorry. But
you had an interest in the arts, in the fine arts. And at a certain point, did you think, I don't think I can make any money from this?
Yeah, absolutely. I had an interest in the fine arts. I'm going to do a little brag. But I actually won the congressional art competition when I was a sophomore for this painting or this drawing I did as a 9th grader. And my mom just submitted it because I gave her the drawing. And I got to meet our congressman and they sent my piece to the White House and everything. So I definitely could have pursued that, but I kind of felt like...
How old were you when you won that?
I was 15.
Okay.
Yeah. But my thinking was just different. It was limited because I saw the arts as something I'll always have to be drawing it, and sometimes it's not fun. And every time it's funny because
it's not fun.
Sometimes it's not fun.
Wow.
Yeah. And it's funny because every time I would take an art class, I would get a terrible grade in school. Yeah. So I didn't want something I enjoyed to turn into a burden, I guess. And so I never pursued that. But I feel like my thinking was very limited at the time because you don't have to be the one always drawing the things. You can still take your creative eye and apply it to so many different things. So
you kind of felt like the well would run out eventually. Is that it? The creativity well, like you wouldn't be able to think of the next thing to draw and then you'd run out of money, or?
Yeah, I just felt like it was very limiting. I didn't want to do it as a career. And yeah, I guess a little bit of that as well.
But mostly you just hadn't seen anybody, you didn't have any role models that were artists that were making money off it. You didn't see anybody with a creative career that was financially well off.
Maybe. I think I was thinking like I would have to do fine arts for it, and I didn't want to be tied to like the pencil and paper to create my living.
Oh, what's the difference between fine arts and what you were doing?
I was doing fine arts.
Oh, you were doing fine arts.
Yeah, yeah. But I could have done a lot of different things. You could go into commercial. A lot of people make a great living from doing commercial drawings or children book illustrations or anything.
Did you know about that?
No.
Oh, you only found out later that you can make money from that. Okay.
But even now, I don't think I would do something in fine arts but not fine arts. However, I do feel that like you can apply just the visual aspect to anything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's pretty interesting. Like you had early success, sounds
Mm-hmm.
like, when you were 15, winning the congressional honor for your artwork, and yet you still didn't feel like that was something that you would be able to make money from. So then you pivot and you
Mm-hmm.
shift and you're thinking you want to do something professionally. And did that just come from seeing your parents struggle?
Yeah, I think that...
or am I putting words in your mouth?
No, it was definitely a part of that.
Yeah.
Like I didn't want to be poor, but I didn't want to struggle or just have like, hardship like that. And it's funny because we say professional, but then you got to define what professional is. That could be applied to so many things. In my like 9th or 8th grade, we wrote like about our families and stuff. And I found that recently and I was reading it. It said like, I want to own the Chrysler building and I want to be a businesswoman. So I think that was my idea.
You wanted to be a Vanderbilt, a JP Morgan.
Yeah, like something like that,
Yeah.
just business or wearing the suit and stuff. I don't know.
So where did you go to college when you picked your college?
I didn't pick my college.
You didn't
My
pick it?
college picked me.
Ah.
When you get rejected from everywhere. I went to Santa Cruz.
Okay.
And it's funny because I accepted without even visiting the campus. I just heard it was it was next to the beach and I wanted to go to like a beach place. And I showed up and the first thing I saw was an abandoned barn in like the redwood trees. And I was like, where am I? I definitely cried when my parents left, but I'm so happy I went there. It was just so different from anything that I was used to. It's very earthy and, and I got to like walk through the redwood trees on my way to the library and there were deer grazing in the soccer field. Oh, it was so beautiful. So beautiful. It was at our UCR. No diss to UCR. I just, it's really hot down there.
I knew nothing about California or
Oh,
Santa
yeah.
Cruz.
You're from Virginia, right?
Yeah. So was this, what is the school known for? Like every school is known for something, right? Whether it's football or the arts or business
our
school.
mascot is banana slugs.
Okay, so
we are the banana slugs.
That's what they're known for, banana slugs.
We're known for, it's very like, there's no football team. Okay, in terms of actual like recognition.
Academics, maybe?
It's not the most academically rigorous school. It's very 420 friendly.
Yeah.
But in terms of what we are known for academically, I believe the guy who discovered the human genome discovered it there in their grad program.
Okay.
So that was something pretty huge. I believe like their biomolecular science program is really good and their marine biology because we're right by the beach.
And so did any of those things interest you, or what area did you?
Come on, Ash. I was interested in socializing.
Yeah.
I was interested in the gym, but no, really. So
But
definitely
nothing.
not marine biology. I don't know. It's cool now. I have an appreciation for it, but at the time, nothing.
So when you're trying to pick what you're going to major in, what did you decide you wanted to do?
I didn't know we had to pick a major for a long time. I figured out like late into
You just
my
took random
freshman year.
classes?
Granted, I'm the first one in my family, like my extended family and my immediate family, to go to college in the States. So I had literally no idea what I was doing. And I didn't realize we had like classes we needed for our major, which I found out later. And I was like, I wouldn't have taken like history of dinosaurs if I knew I had to take this class. But it was a great class.
I've never in my life met anyone
What?
that hasn't known that they have to major in something in college.
No, I just didn't know
fascinating.
that we had to pick classes that you take for your major. I don't know. I was figuring it out as I was going along. But I graduated with 2 majors.
All right,
so,
what were they?
Political science and global econ with a focus in France.
All right, okay. So basically, it has nothing to do with your love of economics or your love of anything other than being in France, right?
No, I did. So I got to get better at making this shorter. So I did pick econ because you need to know a language and study in that country. And I had been studying French since I was in high school. And I was going to potentially be a legal studies major, but I missed so many weeks of that class. And then I went to intro to logic and I was like, what the fuck is happening? I'm sorry, my phone is going off. So I was like, well, I got to pivot. I got to pivot to political science because I have a lot of the same classes. And actually, this reminds me, I did want to be a politician at some point in high school. So
Okay.
I thought it'd be really
that's why political
fun.
science.
Yeah, political science, global econ, and I just felt like they were really great I guess they were kind of broad majors, but they really helped me become more well-read, more well-spoken, like writing the papers.
And econ has something to do with business and finance, so it must make some amount of money.
Yeah, it was interesting. I mean, I don't know.
At any point, did you know what you wanted to be as far as a businesswoman in college, or were you just like going with the flow? It sounds like you're just going with the flow of life.
Just going with
just
the
like
flow,
whatever
man.
happens.
I mean, I have an idea?
Did you ever have like any plans to do anything, or were you
to
just
do
like,
anything?
Yeah, were you just like, I'm just gonna graduate?
Way to make me sound great. I'm gonna graduate after 10 years.
Yeah.
No. I'm like very much the next step will like present itself. We make our
Sounds like
plans. We make our plans and then they pivot. So, but with political science and global econ, I thought I could go into business or whatever I thought that
Okay,
maybe
so there
business.
was a plan. You were going towards a path of financial freedom, possibly by being in business.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally.
So you went to France right after college.
Yes.
Okay. And what did you do there?
So I went to France to study abroad for a little, and I came back and I was like, I feel like my time's not done. So when I went back, I got a job in a French company, which was terrifying, but really awesome because it really forced me to speak French and answer the phones in French.
Wow.
I got to work right by the opera, which was incredible to like walk to work and see the opera there. So I was there for about 9 months. Yeah, and it was really, really awesome.
What did you do there? Is it like, what type of job was it?
It
Internship?
was it was a working internship at a advertising agency.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And it was like a company of 4 people. When I see Emily in Paris, I'm like, I know that person and I know that person. Like I felt like it was so spot on.
So advertising was kind of like what was interesting to you at that point, like right after college? Or you just wanted to travel to France?
Yeah, I just found work. I'm so happy that that's the one I landed on because there was a couple different ones. But I mean, I think advertising was one of the main industries that I looked up. I mean, it wasn't like, biology or anything.
Yeah, that was kind of interesting to you, advertising.
Yeah.
So then after that, do you go to the next advertising job or what happens?
So after that, I moved back. I guess so, because I became a telemarketer. That's advertising, right?
Yeah.
It was a terrible company. Wow.
Moved back to California.
Back to California. I was living in, were you going to ask me something?
With your parents?
No, actually, I live with my parents now, but then I wasn't. So I was living on my own, like in this it was really cool, in Santa Monica. And this company, so granted, I did become top junior salesperson in the first 2 months. but you basically, in order to graduate to like from the intro position, you had to pull 5 social security numbers off a cold call.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And people do that with like a score of over 600 or something. And these are, I mean,
it's a pretty powerful skill to have.
I know. Yeah.
Were you able to do that?
I mean, come on, top junior salesperson. But like the APRs were crazy.
What's an APR? I'm
annual
thinking
percentage rate.
Annual percentage
yeah,
rate.
like 40% ones.
Oof.
So, but some people just, they are fine with it. I quit that job in 3 months. I was making like up to like 300 to 400 calls a day. And I was miserable. I was just like not a nice person. I would leave the house when it was dark, and I would get back when it was dark. And my friend at the time, he has a great, like, he's a creative, and he was just doing great, you know, and happy and enjoying life. And it was just like, something's got to change, man. And that's when, actually in France is when I took my first theater class ever. I had no intention of being an actor. I was very afraid of public speaking. It's funny because all my closest friends in high school were all in musical theater, but I wasn't. And I took my first theater class at a business school in Paris. And as I was doing my telemarketing job, I was so miserable, and I was thinking like, man, when's the last time I was happy, you know? And being in my early 20s and stuff. And I was like, well, that theater class was really fun. So maybe I could do that again. I'm in LA. Like, I guess so, you know, but I had absolutely no idea what that entailed. Like, were there acting classes? What is an acting class? I just started Googling it, and there was one person I knew who was an actor in this city. So I reached out, and I was like, what do you do? I had absolutely no idea.
So it's interesting because you didn't do art because you didn't think you could make money from it. And you went on this track of business, and you're like, well, maybe I could make money as an actress.
No, I didn't think I could make money.
Oh, you didn't think, it was just going to be a hobby for you still.
I was just miserable.
And you're just trying to find anything to do.
Bring me joy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what were you going to do to make money at that point?
Oh, I got a job with my dad's advice. He was like, well, maybe you could do like, you know, when you graduate, you should just get your license in like loan, when you buy a house and they process your loan officer.
Right.
That's what I was. I was a loan officer, guys.
How long were you a loan officer?
Probably a couple years, because my mom had worked a lot my mom branched away from like working in church, and she also started her own business and stuff.
How much education do you need for that?
You just pass a test.
Okay.
Yeah. So that held me over for a little bit, because my mom knew a lot of people who needed that stuff. And the thing is, like, loan officers, realtors there's so many of them. You just need to build relationship, you know, and people will go to you. There's always a need, there's always a demand, but there's also a lot of supply. So my mom had a lot of people she knew, so that really helped.
And you also were acting on the side while you did 2 years of loan officing.
Loan officing,
yeah,
is that a word?
It is today.
Officiating. Probably for about so I quit my job, and then there was only a few months that I did that. I was taking acting classes. I got a manager super fast off Backstage. Everyone bashes on Backstage, but dude, it's a free tool, and there's so many people on there. And she sent me out on one of my first auditions for Ray Donovan, and I got the role, and it was a speaking role.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, one of my first auditions. But the thing is, I wasn't SAG. And then shortly after, like, I kid you not, this happened so fast. The company who was next to my Paris company, they really liked me, and they would like joke about poaching me and stuff. But I was like, I can't leave my internship. About a year later, their startup had grown enough, and they reached out, and they're like, hey, our business is growing. We would love for you to come to Ireland and work for us, blah, blah, blah.
Working as what now?
Key accounts manager.
All right.
So I managed started with their European accounts, and then I moved on to all of their US accounts. And the goal was to open their West Coast office. So
you didn't have to move to Ireland. You could stick around.
No, I did move to Ireland.
Oh, you did move to Ireland. So your acting career seems like it's about to take
Yeah.
off with Ray Donovan, and you're like, well, I don't think this is going to make money.
No, I wanted to stay so bad, but like this inner voice was like,
go to Ireland.
This acting is so new and so undependable, you know? this job opportunity, which is very secure.
Oh wait, yeah, I'm gonna say
Okay,
don't hit the table.
sorry.
So you decided to go to Ireland?
Yeah, I did. I mean, it was a tough decision, but
What happened with the acting?
took a pause. I mean, while I was in Ireland, it was always in my heart, and I would see theaters and I would be like, maybe, but I don't know. I really believe in timing. I believe in like, there's an inner voice speaking to us. And so as much as I wanted to like do the acting with Ray Donovan, it was so exciting. I just felt like not yet. So I took the job in Ireland. I moved, literally it all happened within a couple weeks. And I was there for about 3.5 months. And it just taught me so much. I moved there not knowing anybody, not ever having wanted to move to Ireland. I just knew my boss. And it taught me a lot about being alone. It taught me that, no matter where you are, life is life. People go to work. People find their friends. I was so fortunate to meet one other person who went to Santa Cruz. And my really good friends were friends with him. So we would like meet on the weekends and hang out and like explore the city. But it was definitely lonely, but also in a really great way because I just learned so much. Yeah.
And is that where you wanted to stay? You only stayed for 3.5 months, and then what happened?
And then I moved to New York. I was so
For another
miserable.
job?
For the same job.
For the same type?
Yeah,
okay.
so the company was growing really quickly, and they wanted me to go to the East Coast.
So you're on the corporate track now.
Yeah.
You feel like, okay.
Startup corporate, I guess.
Startup corporate.
Yeah, it was really cool, like being there, helping manage account. With one account, we brought in $4.5 million of profit.
Wow.
And this was, when I got there, we were less than 6 people, and it grew to like 30. I came to New York, and there was like 3 other people in the office. And basically I had one person above me, but she was here and there from her other job. And so I got, again, a lot of great experience managing like the interns, being in calls where I had absolutely no idea what was happening. And I just had to like BS it.
Just figure it out. Is your improv chops in action already?
Yes. You can only improv about programmatic media buying so much. But it was really, really just such a, again, growing and eye-opening experience. And then also...
You hated that, though, in New York.
I think I told you this. Yeah, so...
But they don't know.
Oh, okay. I'll tell. I'll tell the guys over there.
Yeah.
But in New York, when I got there, I was in a pretty bad relationship. It was like really difficult emotionally. Ireland was very cold and rainy. Ireland is so awesome. You should go. And then I moved to New York in the winter, also cold and rainy. And I lived right by Times Square, so it was very loud. And again, I didn't really know anyone there. I knew like one person. And I remember like I worked in a WeWork, and one of the guys who worked there, he was like, "Why do you live here? All you ever say is how much you hate it." And I was like, "No, I don't." I didn't think I always thought I was a positive person, but I had realized that all I had been saying was, "I hate New York. I hate New York. It's so dirty. I hate New York. It's so cold," just because I was in a bad place, you know?
Sounds like, though, the job wasn't that bad. It was just your location and the people you were around.
I don't think it was even that. I think it was me. Like, I think it was my attitude. And after that, it was so eye-opening. Every time I compulsively, like without realizing, wanted to say, I hate, like, I would just be like, I love New York. Like, I love the cold.
And did you end up loving it?
And I love New York. Yeah, after that.
How long did you stay there?
For a little over a year. Yeah. I felt like I didn't have any friends. And then, you know, I realized, like, you got to be that friend. And now some of my closest friends, like, by the time I was leaving, because I had made plans to move to San Francisco to finally open the West Coast office.
Oh, so you're with this company for a long time, from Ireland to New York to San Francisco.
Yeah.
So you're coming back to the West Coast
Finally, like homecoming.
The weather, yeah. And how long did you stay in there?
San Francisco was only there for a few months. There was some stuff going down in the company that I wasn't like a huge fan of. So I did land them some clients in SF. But then I decided, you know, I actually don't remember like how the transition happened, but I quit the job and I moved to LA.
So there was you don't know like what the straw was that broke the camel's back.
I can't remember. I do remember what made me less invested in the company, which is why you should always Richard Branson said something. I think it was him. He said, train your employees so they can leave you, treat them so they don't want to.
Yeah.
And like one of the interns, she was so great and worked like full time there, and they fired all the interns without even like telling them over a Zoom call. Like
Wow.
the supervisor just had to let them go. So I was like, I don't like that, you know? I don't see when, like, I just felt like that wasn't conducive to a healthy environment.
So now you've quit, and do you want to do accounts management anymore while you're in LA?
So I moved back home.
Okay.
And I was like, do you know Russell Brunson?
Yeah.
The ClickFunnels guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, I'm going to build my own ClickFunnel. And I was like tapping away at home, like going into a deep spiral. And my mom was like, I think you should get out and meet people your age. And I was like, no, Mom. So then my really good friend, he told me about a job opportunity at his talent management company as a receptionist.
And what was the talent management company?
Roar.
Roar, one of
Yeah.
the biggest management companies in the world.
Yeah, they're amazing.
Top 10.
Yeah.
Top 5. I don't know.
Top 1.
Top
Just kidding.
1. All right.
But yeah, I went on as a receptionist. I never thought they would take me on as a client in my wildest dreams. But just, you know, stuff happened, and then
Okay, so you were a receptionist, right, at Roar. And then how long into it where they said, hey, we want to represent you?
probably like a good 7 months in, they asked me to become a host for Hollywire. Yeah. Back when the studio was like in their lobby, and I became a host for them. And then it was, you know, I was doing well. And they sent me on a couple like pseudo auditions.
So you do realize that never happens. That's a story that never happens to people, right?
I don't know about that.
It's very rare.
I heard J-Lo was a receptionist or a paralegal or something. She's J-Lo.
Most of us have sent like thousands of emails to agents and managers trying to get repped.
Yeah.
And it just kind of came to you.
Yeah, I mean, I would no.
Pretty amazing.
The thing is, I really believe, like, you know, I have such a huge faith in God,
Right.
and I really feel that He lines up every step. That's why when I was in college, I just didn't know, you know, and there are some things that seem random or whatever. So, yeah, but yeah,
So now you're back in the acting game again.
I am. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it was not until like, so after Roar, I know we're almost up on time.
The receptionist.
After I was a receptionist, I kind of like was having trouble with auditions and work and stuff, but they were very understanding. But I decided to separate church and state. That's what my friend called it. And I became a waitress at Pink Taco. And I was there shining forks because my boss told me to. And I'm like, man, I have to because he's my boss. And I'm getting paid basically $8 an hour. I'm like, I feel like my time is worth more than this. But I had not, because I had gotten so far just off like talent, I guess. But I was close to the end, but not booking things, you know? And I just didn't pull the trigger. So at that point, when I was like underground in the basement of Pink Taco shining forks, I was like, you know, I speak 3 languages. I went to university. I feel like I could be doing something else, but I wasn't committed enough to a corporate career, but I hadn't committed enough to this acting thing. So that's when I was like, all right, I got to pull the trigger because class is freaking expensive, man. So I was like, I will pay for class. And that's where I met you.
You pulled the trigger
I pulled the trigger.
of
Oh, yeah.
getting out of the corporate world and pursuing acting full time.
Yeah. Yeah. Full time for sure. Just making it plan A.
And then about 2 years, I think, after I met you, you booked a series regular on HBO, and
Yeah, which is pretty
everything's
cool.
working out for you, acting wise.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, everything has ups and downs. So
Right.
I think acting, somebody this morning was like, so how's acting going? I'm like, it's great. There's so much more to life though than just acting. And I feel like as creators, it's so important for us to see that, you know, we draw inspiration from our daily lives. And so every time I've been so focused on like work and I just feel like there's so much to draw from everything.
But also, other than the corporate work, you also have a side business called
Yeah.
Bronze Bum. Yeah. And so you juggle both that and acting. So you don't really, there's never a time in your life where you're like, I want to go back to accounts management.
No, God. I mean, I don't care about accounts management.
Yeah.
I would do it. I just feel like do it if you love it. Whatever you do it with your whole heart, you know? So acting, I want to do with everything. My business, I want to do. As long as you're growing from it, and I really believe that we are all given gifts. Like, we're healthy, we are here. We got to take everything that we have and like use it towards something and to serve other people too. So I kind of feel like I have that creative eye. I have an affinity. I love business. I love acting. I should be doing all of that. Yeah.
So now you're living your dream life.
I am, surprisingly.
Yeah.
I'm like in my 30s living at my parents' house, but I am like the happiest I've ever been. And you asked, or in your email, you didn't ask this question. I know we're running out of time. You said, what keeps you motivated? Because I think as a creative or in anything, even if you're not a creative, it can be very difficult to sometimes like overcome your fears. And something that really kept me going is, will the pain of, I imagine myself at the end of my life, will the pain of not trying be greater than the pain I'm feeling right now? And so I feel like the pain of having not tried and given it my all to pursue my dreams when I'm 80, that would be much greater than whatever I'm going through. So
well said. So I think
that's
we
the
have
one
like,
question I prepared.
we got 2 minutes of wisdom there. That's great.
Was that 2 minutes?
Yeah. More than 2 minutes. So
Pretty sure it was like 20 seconds.
yeah, well, no, I think it's 2 minutes.
Okay.
I think you did a good job. So do you have any final words? I think those were the final words.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah, I think those are good closing words. Make me
Yeah.
sound smart.
Okay. Well, I'll do what I can do. I'll see what I can do. All right. Thanks a lot for coming on by.
Oh, wait.
Yeah. Wait. You want?
I do.
Okay.
I just want to say it is so cool. 2 years ago. Crap, no.
4 years
2020
ago.
was 2 years. See, I keep doing that. I keep saying 2 years, forgetting the pandemic was 2 years. 4 years ago, I remember you and I, no reps. I just started getting auditions, like us taping together. I always make the shing sound when I would pull out my sword. Talking
Paper sword.
talking about what we want to do and where we want to be, where we will be. And just this weekend, we went to your movie premiere as one of the leads, and being here, this podcast, it's
And
really,
you being
really
the series
cool.
regular, you know,
Yeah.
dream together, win together, right?
I know, it's crazy. Great.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
Yeah.
So don't give up, friends.
Yeah, I believe in you, so you should believe in yourself. No,
Don't
it's
end
cheesy,
on
but-
that. You will lose followers.
Cool, I'm gonna end on this.